Hello, today we are going to talk about the MMC, or the Microsoft Management Console. What this is, it's a program that you type MMC and it will launch this program right here, the Microsoft Management Console. But as you look at it, you'll notice that it's empty. Think of the Microsoft Management Console as a toolbox. A toolbox that, as when you buy from the store, has no tools in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to populate this Microsoft Management Console or toolbox with programs that we can use to then manage our computer. A lot of these programs are built into Microsoft. Some can be third-party add-ins, and we can also customize it with some other helpful little tidbits, which I'm going to show you here in this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in programs called Snapins, and we do that by going File, Add Remove Snapin, and then you're going to see a list of all the currently available Snapins. So for example, I want to do a Snapin to maybe the task scheduler. I can just click Add, and that will put it into my console root. But before I do that, it's going to ask me, what am I snapping into? And I want to manage the local computer, or you can choose another computer if you're on a network. I'm going to choose local computer and click OK. And I'm going to go ahead and add another one. Maybe I want to go ahead and add the, device manager. And another neat one here is that you can actually link directly to a web address. So I'm going to click Add, and you're going to put in the address that you want to link to. So maybe you want to link to Microsoft.com. Click Next, and then you can just give it a friendly name, and you can say Microsoft's homepage. You can call it whatever you want. Click Finish. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and just stop, and I'm going to click OK so you can get an idea of what we're doing. So over here, you have the console root pane, which is kind of like, think of it as the main folder of options. And we have Task Scheduler, Device Manager, Microsoft's homepage. So if I click on one of these, for example, Task Scheduler, it's going to automatically launch the Task Scheduler on this computer. Device Manager, same thing. I can bring up my Device Manager, and Microsoft's homepage is going to go ahead and launch. And we'll just say no, because I have no idea. Well, we'll say yes, and it's fine. I can maximize this a little bit to get some better real estate. And then over here, I might have more actions, but we'll look at that here in a little bit. So what's nice about this is I can customize this to however I like. And I'm going to show you another way we can customize it. And then I can save it. So I can go File, Save As, and I can give it a friendly name. So maybe I'm going to say daily tasks that I perform. And I'm going to click Save, and it defaults into the Windows Administrative Tools. You can save it wherever you like. And I can usually actually take this file, send it to another administrator, send it to myself so I can use it on other computers, so I don't have to keep opening the different programs. I can just keep adding the Snapins. All right, so that's the first Snapin we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go File, and I'm going to do a new one. So again, I got another blank toolbox, but we're going to do a little different this time. So I'm going to go File, I'm going to Add, Remove the Snapin, I'm going to go Folder, and I'm going to click Add. And then I'm going to come over here to Advanced, and I'm going to allow change in the parent Snapin, and I'm going to click OK. And under Folder, I'm going to go ahead and add Device Manager and Event Viewer to this computer. And I can come back to console root, so go back to my console root. I can add another folder, add, and then choose that Snapin. And maybe in that Snapin I could put disk management for this computer, and maybe computer management for this computer, and finish. All right, then click OK. And now I've got these folders, and I can just double click on them. And so it's like having a file cabinet where you have multiple drawers. And I can just collapse these, click on console root. I could click over here. I can also rename these folders. So I could say, maybe these are utilities. And maybe I want to see what was in here. And so maybe I can rename this one And I'll call this one computer management and disk drives. So again, I can create my console root and I can add this functionality, make it easy for me to use. Now there's some other things we can do. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to go to action, and I'm going to actually go back to console root first. I'm going to go to action, and I'm going to create what's called a task pad. Think of it as having a piece of paper where you're going to scribble, or you have some post-its laying around, things that are there to help you out, like shortcuts. So I'm going to say new task pad view, click next. I'm going to create a horizontal list on this first one. I'm going to use an info tip for this one. I'll show you the difference in a minute. I'm going to use large size so you can see it pretty good. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to say, do I want this to apply to anywhere within this console root that it would be appropriate, or just where I'm at? And I'm going to say everywhere where I'm at. Click next. I can give it a name, and I'm going to call it shortcuts. And I'll say useful options. I'm going to click next, and I'm going to add some tasks. So the first task that I want to add, and you notice that there's a little areas, it looks a little different right now. I'm going to click next. I'm going to add a shell command. I want to run a program. And the command that I actually want to use is the calculator. Maybe I need to quick do some subnetting or something like that. So I'm going to say calc, run as a normal window. Next, I'm going to say the Windows calculator. Next, and then I can pick an icon. And so these are some built-in icons, or you can create your own custom icons. And let's see if we have something that resembles a calculator. And I guess we can go back to that first one up here. It's kind of close. Although that maybe, can't really tell, but we'll just pick that. Or I'll say plus, maybe we're thinking adding. Click next. I'm going to run the wizard one more time, and I'm going to click finish. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to say next. This time I'm going to do a menu command, next. And if I look at my utilities, or let's say event viewer, I come down and click on event viewer. I can actually say, maybe I want to open one of the logs, an event log that I've saved previously. So I'm going to click open save log, next. Open save log. Pick an icon that you think works for you. I'm just going to use like a folder. Click next, and I'm going to go ahead and finish. And if you notice down here at the very bottom of the screen, I have open save log and Windows calculator, and I can just click on. If you notice it, I'm hovering, it says opens an existing log file. Or I can click on the Windows calculator, and it actually brought it into my other screen. I can click open save log. If I had any save logs, same thing here, I can go ahead and I can click and bring in a save log. So these are nice little tips or shortcuts that you can actually have. Okay, so I'm down in my first utilities or my second utilities, and I can still go ahead and grab these shortcuts. Now let's say that I want to add another one, or I want to change this to maybe vertical instead of horizontal. I can go back to action. I can edit the task pad view. So I can change this now to vertical. Maybe this time I'll put a little text description on the side. I'm going to keep it as large. I'm going to add a new task. Say new, create a new task. You can also run scripts. So if you are a script writer, like for example a PowerShell script, you could do that. Just for sake of argument, I'm just going to go ahead and put in Notepad. Click next. Notepad. Next. And that looks pretty good to me. Next. And finish. And click OK. And you notice now that my shortcuts are on a vertical window, and I can size all this if it's too big. I can just click on this and drag it and size it a little bit. And I can just play around with that. But here are all my little useful shortcuts in this window right here. And then over here under actions, depending on what you're on, For example, under disk management, if there are any actions, don't look like there are for that one. If I go to, actually probably up under utilities, if I go to event viewer, you can see that there are additional things that I can do here. I can open a logs, import a view, create a view, device manager. There's no other actions right here. And again, I can save this, give it a friendly name, daily tasks. Oh, what I used last time. So I'm going to just give it a different name this time. And I'm going to say useful tools. If you're working on a Microsoft server using Active Directory, you can bring in your Snapins to manage group policy, to manage programs like creating new users, sites, all sorts of different Active Directory things as well. And so this can be a very versatile tool. It's basically going to the local store of Home Depot, Lowe's, buying that big old toolbox. It starts off empty, and then you start to fill it in with the tools that you use on a regular basis. And you can create folders to manage it, make it a little bit easier for you to navigate around. And so this is your MMC, and then you can just file, exit to close, and you're done.